On today's video, we're going to corner weight the S13. Alright, so on the last one we adjusted the coilovers to the right ride height and adjusted the bump travel. So that's all set up now. And what we're doing is just chucking on the alignment machine to make sure it's somewhat close before we corner weight it. And then we'll adjust heights to suit, and then we'll align it after that. So we've just chucked it on, measured it up, and the cambers and caster is pretty close to what it was before, but it's thrown out the toe a fair bit. So basically just going to fix up the toe a little bit, and then we'll chuck it on the scales. Alright, so we've got it all lined up, basically just fixed up the toe. So camber's a little bit out in the front still, but I might fix that up after. It's only a degree out, so nothing too major. Just running the toe at rough sort of amounts that I'd normally run at an everyday sort of track. But yeah, a little bit better than it was before. We're going to get into corner weighting it now. So basically want to work out what I weigh with all my race gear on, which is basically just a helmet. Normally I have my flanny on and trackies, but just get a rough sort of idea. So we've got one scale here. So with my helmet, just going up a bit, 96 kilos. So yeah, my diet's not gone too well this year, but we're getting back into that. Started again on Monday.
Keyword again.
Isn't it funny you always start a diet on a Monday? Has anyone ever started a diet on a Saturday or Sunday?
I haven't started.
We can tell. So, what was it?
96.
96 or something. I've spent probably 2 hours this morning going around trying to find, I forgot what the word is now, those circle weights. Used on dumbbells and stuff. I can't remember what the name is, but trying to find them. Went to the local workout store. They had them, but a 20 kilo circle plate weight, whatever blinger thing is, can't remember the name of it, was $100. So obviously if we got a big boy in here, 140, 150 kilos, Kane here. Yeah, that's like a lot of money, $700 or something.
Don't be heavy.
Ended up finding some at Kmart. They were only $40 for a 20 kilo round blinger, whatever the name is again. But all stores are sold out. So spent so much time today trying to find that. Ended up going Bunnings, buying some play sand and some bag blingers. And these are basically 20 kilos each. I should probably test them out actually. Let's make sure they're close to 20 kilos. Oh, 20.5. Pretty much bang on. So what we're going to do is, it's a bit hard to get exactly the amount because obviously we've got bags of sand, so I'm just going to put 100 kilos in. That's pretty close. After I have decent feed for lunch at the track, we'll be pretty close anyway. So yeah, now we've got to guess what the weight of the Silvia is with no driver in it. It's got probably 3/4 of a tank of fuel, I reckon, which isn't a bad sort of amount of fuel to sort of set it up at, because you're not always driving with a full tank. I try and keep it topped up as much as you can, but obviously after half a session or whatever, you've already used some of your tank, so 3/4 is probably a good amount. Everything else is full of fluids and that. I don't know, I'm gonna say, oh, it's a hard one. It's got no rear end on it. It's got no front end. Fiberglass pretty much most of the things apart from the bonnet and boot. Doors are still metal, but they're pretty stripped. I know, I only go 1200. What do you think?
I'm thinking like 1150 because it's so stripped out, but it also has a bit of a heavy motor, or heavier, being an RB20 rather than an SR. So can't guess the same thing as him, so I'm going 1150.
Alright, let's let it down and we'll see. Is that all the way out?
Should be.
Oh, that's up. Down. And down. Alright. Oh! That's a pretty close guess. That's a fair amount lighter than the 350 and the IS200, but I guess this is stripped out. Rear windows perspex, fiberglass panels and everything, so that's pretty good. I was expecting a little bit more, but yeah, alright. We'll chuck some weights in the driver's seat and see what that does. I was really hoping to go with those weights as well, so that way we could sort of stack them up in the seat and still have the steering lock and stuff on for the wheel alignment, but yeah, we couldn't obviously get those. So these bags of sand are going to take up a lot of room. Oh. What do we need? We need 5 bags of sand. Bloody hell. I'm thinking we put them all in the seat because all your weight's going to be in the seat. You're not really going to have any weight on your feet there because that's on the pedals and that. So if you want to get technical, maybe you'd have 5 kilos or so there, but not getting that far into it. So that's 80 kilos. It'd be really good if I was 80 kilos. Where are we going to put the next bag? No, we'll squeeze it. Hopefully next year we can get rid of one of those bags. But, let's see what it's at now. $12.60. So what was it before?
1257. So 102 kilos.
Yeah, so that's pretty bang on. Now we've got to work out the corner weights. So this is obviously my first time setting up the corner weights. So basically learning as we go. So if you're a professional at this and know what you're doing, give us some tips, but otherwise we're going to have a play around with it and see how we go. At the moment we got the front, so left front 338, right front 349, so they're pretty close together actually. Then we got left rear 261 and then right rear 310. So I think we need to get the left rear to take a little bit more weight, and that should probably even it up, I'd say. Front to rear is actually not too bad. I think we can change that here if we go. Nope, not that one. Partial percentage. Oh yeah, there we go. So we got front is 687 kilos and rear is 572. So that's what I was talking about in the last video. If we can try and get a bit more weight to the rear, you'll get a bit more grip in the rear. So that's not too bad. I'm not going to mess around with raising the front up for that. We can try that another day. But we want to get this corner weight a bit better. So that was this one. So 48.4% is not too bad, but let's have a bit of a play around with it. I reckon if we raise that side, it should give a bit more weight to that. So that's left to rear. So we'll try that. We'll try and raise that side. I'm pretty sure that's what it will do.
Would it not be lower that side? Because you're shifting the weight from the right side to the left.
Maybe. Alright, we're going to play around with the height and see what that does.
Alrighty, so we're just discussing how we go about shifting this weight. So we've got the rear left was about 40-50 kilos lighter than the other side. Obviously we've got the battery in the back of the car on that side, which is probably about 20 kilos. Kay was thinking originally that he would need to raise this side to get more weight on it, but we're thinking that it might be backwards. You need to lower it to shift the weight over this side. So if we were to raise this more, the center of gravity pushes more to the right side, which then is going to put more weight on that rear right. So we're thinking we lower this side a couple mil and see how we go there, see where the weight shifts really.
Lucky we've got all the tools and we can play around with it and see what works. So yeah, we'll adjust it and get back to you and see what we do. Alright, so we did what we thought and we lowered the left rear, thinking that would add more weight to it, but this is the difference from before and after. So from lowering it, it's actually taken weight away from it and given it to the other side. So what I think we have to do is what I originally thought and raise it. So raising it will push the wheel down onto the weight more, obviously, onto the ground, and then that should give more weight to that side. So now have a play around again and raise that one and see if we can fix that up. Lucky we got our trusty speed socket, so we don't have to mess around with wheel nuts while we're taking wheels on and off. Done. Alright, so now we're raising it. Chuck the wheel back on, see where we're at. Alright, so raised it up a little bit. That's given more weight to this one, to the left rear, and then a bit less on the right rear. It's changed the other ones around a little bit as well. Now we're at 49.7. Just by that little adjustment, it's changed everything around that much. Probably only raised it from the original height, maybe 10 mil or so. I didn't actually measure it, but maybe not even 10 mil. So when we first thought we were lowering it to give more weight, probably went, yeah, about 10 mil. So then I just went back up about 20 mil. So from original height, we're probably only 10 mil lower. I'm gonna go maybe another 5-10 mil and then we'll see what it's at. I reckon it's gonna be spot on, almost perfect. So yeah, let's get into that. Well, we went about another 10 mil and now we've gone way too far. So now we're at 50.9%. It's changed the front a fair bit as well, which is, yeah, I didn't expect that. So, alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to drop that back down a little bit and then see how that goes. We might have to play around with the front a little bit because the front's a bit off, so yeah, we'll play around with that rear one again and come back to you. Alright, so just played around with it a little bit more. Worked out. Don't even have to take the wheel off to do it. I can just get my hand through the wheel here and spin it here. So that made it a lot quicker to do small adjustments. Just have to jack it up so the weight of the car's not on it. But show you what we got to. We are at 50.05. The car's obviously not settled. I need to make up some little bits of wood or something that we can put here, which are the same height. Then we can roll the car backwards and forwards to try and settle the suspension. But what I did was I just went around for now and just pushed down on each side just to try and settle that in. And then that's what we got. So left front 328, right front 359, left rear 271, and then right rear 300. So obviously all those numbers aren't the same, which is going to be almost impossible to get all of those exactly the same, but the one you want is a cross weight 50-50%, so that's pretty good. let's see what we're at front to rear. Chuck this one on. So left is 600 kilos, right is 659, which isn't too bad because considering you got to remember there's 100 kilo of weight on the right hand side to compensate for the driver. So if you had a passenger in the car, that's going to do left to right almost pretty close, depending on how much your passenger weighs. Front 687 and rear 570. So that's not too bad. For now I'm going to leave it as is and test it out and see how it goes. But something in the future, I might play around with raising the front up a bit. Maybe raise it like an inch or so and then see what that does to the front to rear weight and see if we can get that closer to 50-50, because that would be pretty rad as well, especially with a big RB20 in there. It's not actually designed for the car. So yeah, anyway, that was a bit of fun playing around with that. I actually only adjusted that rear left one. I didn't even adjust any of the other ones. So one day we'll get into it a bit further and adjust all of them and try and get every spec a little bit better. But yeah, you're gonna need to have a bit more of a play around with it and learn it a bit more, and then we'll have a bit more knowledge about how it all works and that. But pretty stoked with that. Probably only took us not even that long. So yeah, that's probably going to be it for this video. The next video would probably be, I want to do a video on doing the traction arms on it, but I'm probably not going to do that until maybe next week. We've got an event coming up this weekend at JDMX Park. Foolish Liner putting on. It's got a few rad drivers coming out there, so if this video goes up before the weekend, make sure you come down and have a watch. We'll have some of those stickers that I showed in the previous video. They'll be available at the track, so come down and support JDMX Park and buy a sticker. That'll be supporting the Movember cause. But yeah, anyway, that's it from us for today. Probably only ended up being a pretty short video, so probably go into a bit more detail on a different car or this car in the future and get a bit more into adjusting it. But yeah, that's it for us for now, so bye.